Hello to whoever's watching this, Professor TAs. My name is Alex Clark. Welcome to my YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about micro-influencers and basically how they are changing the world as we know it. People don't realize that micro-influencers actually have a lot more of an impact on day-to-day life than people actually realize. Influencers have been changing businesses. They've been changing social movements. It's a whole new way for people to make money. I'm personally very fascinated by it. I think it's very interesting. It's also something I've been involved in for a number of years on social media. I have made some money there too. So, yeah, enjoy. What are micro-influencers? Micro-influencers are typically considered people on social media that have followings ranging from 10,000 to 100,000 followers, meaning small influencer. Micro-influencers have been very trendy as of late because people find them a lot more relatable and easier to connect with. A lot of micro-influencers, because they have smaller fan bases, they're able to reach out to more fans and connect with them on a personal level, and whether it's DMing them, responding to comments, etc., etc. They have a lot more time to do stuff like that because they are smaller and their community is smaller. A lot of people also like micro-influencers opposed to the big mainstream influencers because they seem a lot more genuine, because they're a lot easier to relate to. People like stuff on social media that's either funny, educational, or relatable. And influencers, on top of being funny and or educational, are very relatable people because they aren't like the big influencers. They don't really have the big houses, the cars, the boats, all that stuff. It's like picture making a middle-class income, except your job is social media. That's essentially what these people are, so people can actually relate to them more because they'll have a lot of the same struggles that these people have, etc., etc. 60%, there's a study that shows that 60% of micro-influencers have actually higher engagement in terms of their numbers compared to bigger influencers. Like I said, this is because people feel more personally connected to these people. It's more curated to what they like. It's smaller. A big thing when it comes to influencers also is authenticity. That plays a big role in people's careers and can make or break your career. This is important because it is the backbone of most micro-influencers' businesses. Surveys show that 70% of consumers trust product reviews and business shoutouts more from micro-influencers than macro-influencers, and 82% of consumers are highly likely to follow a micro-influencer's recommendations on products. This is very good for businesses to know because not only is it more cost-effective than paying a big creator, but it's also you get a more genuine review out of it because these people really do care. They're trying to build their brand, and a great way to do that is by being authentic. There are many different ways to build authenticity, build your social media brand, and to showcase your authenticity on social media to become more credible. The best way of doing this is just by being genuinely passionate about whatever niche the influencer is in. Let's say, for example, they are in the car niche and they love cars, and a car part company decides to sponsor them and give them a free car part. Let's say it's an exhaust for their car, and they try it out, because you're passionate about the topic, you are going to naturally give a good, genuine review on it because it's something that you care about, opposed to being in the car niche and you get a sponsorship for a microwave, for example, and you don't really know what to say about it because it's not your expertise and you're not passionate about it, so you're just kind of just giving a made-up review just for the money, rather than being actually passionate and knowing what you're talking about. Followers pick up on this. Followers want to follow people that are genuine. People on social media can see right through that stuff. If you are trying to be fake, you don't really know what you're talking about, there's always going to be someone that knows more than you, especially on the internet. Another way to build authenticity and build a sense of community is also, like I said earlier, just engaging with your followers, because they typically don't have as many followers as the big guys, so they can recognize followers in the comments easier because it's always like the same group of people. Can DM them and all that stuff because your DMs aren't flooded with fans. You might get only a few a day, and it makes it a lot easier to respond to, and people really like this. People really like engagement, and they like feeling, oh, this person's actually real and they're actually talking to me, rather than just seeing their videos on a screen and never being able to get a hold of them like they're untouchable. It's a lot more relatable, and people pick up on that and they really like it. Now that we talked a little bit about what a micro-influencer is and the importance of being authentic and the backbone of it being utilized to build your brand, we could talk about what micro-influencers and influencers in general are doing nowadays to basically change the scape of how we live life. Influencers nowadays nowadays tend to be very vocal on social issues. Obviously, it depends on what influencers, but we're seeing a trend more and more of people speaking out on their opinions. Influencers could use their platforms to raise awareness about social justice issues and progressive policies. We see this all the time, whether it's them making their own original post or a big influencer or an influencer of any size for that matter reposting something that might portray like a political or social movement message. This is a lot more powerful than people think, and it can be good and bad. Some influencers have also made full careers out of just being social activist influencers. For example, an influencer named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez became a congresswoman in the United States, and before that she was a prominent social media influencer who actively spoke out against activist issues and social issues. She had a big following on Instagram and Twitter, and during her campaign for Congress, her videos went viral on social media, which helped her gain a lot more votes and popularity, which is what was needed to get elected. Some influencers, if big enough, can even influence votes in big events like the presidential election, for example. In 2016, a popular influencer named Shaun King, who was an activist and a writer on top of being an influencer, was a strong supporter of Bernie Sanders during the 2016 election. Although Bernie Sanders did not win the election, Shaun King was very vocal and posted a lot about his appreciation and love for Bernie Sanders. And because of this, it highlighted policies and his brand in general to all of his followers, which put more eyes on Bernie Sanders, which gained him a lot more votes than he would have gotten if he had not received all this extra attention. So that is one way that social and political activists on social media can be good, because they can easily bring awareness to topics that might be overlooked in media and in life in general, and get a lot of instant eyes on it and get people talking about it. Influencers, specifically in the United States, have had a significant impact when it comes to political discourse on certain topics. From viral memes being created to political endorsements, they have used their massive followings to raise awareness. Mobilize support, and influence policy changes. We talked a bit about the positives of influencers and getting involved in political issues and how it can be good to shed light on things. But the downside of this can often be, and it is seen a lot today, and it is affecting society a lot today as well, especially in the United States, for example. You can see this, it's very prevalent because people have these opinions, and a lot of people have these opinions, and it's a very competitive niche and market to break into. You find a lot of people actually just saying polarizing opinions, very extreme political opinions, not necessarily because they believe in them, but because it gets them clicks, and oftentimes they're very polarizing, and unfortunately a lot of the audience that listens to this stuff ends up actually believing it, whether it is true or not, and this creates a very polarizing society. This can be seen on both sides of wherever you lean politically, left or right. There are influencers out there that are both giving very polarizing opinions, and because of this, I feel like as a society and as a country, even here in Canada as well, this is showing that it's almost pulling each other further away from each other rather than bringing us together as one population. I feel like because of this, this has played a massive role in how divided we are now in terms of political beliefs, because everyone's beliefs are more extreme than they used to be simply because of what they see online. On one hand, enhanced communication and social media influencers have made it a lot easier to shed light on certain policies and political beliefs that people may not have known of just by watching traditional media. But the big downsides here are, like I said, it can lead to a lot of misinformation and very polarizing opinions that are not necessarily good for society, but people will get other people to believe them just for clicks and views, which gives them money. People have suggested that policymakers in the West need to kind of create some sort of rule and or regulation around the information that influencers are able to spread online, so this misinformation and these opinions cannot be spread so quickly. I do agree with that. However, it's a little bit of a touchy subject when it comes to that because of the whole freedom of speech right, and just the back and forth between that. Although I don't agree with misinformation, I think personally the best way to avoid this would be to just do research on a topic. If you hear about it, read multiple sources, look for both sides of the argument, because the truth is always somewhere in the middle. It's never over here, it's never over here. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. So that is my personal That is my personal way. I try my best to combat misinformation, just doing my own due diligence and not 100% trusting any one side of the story. Now that we talked about the political and social effects that influencers and micro-influencers are having on the modern day, let's talk about how influencers and micro-influencers are affecting businesses in the modern day, which has been, to say the least, a very successful and good outcome so far. From 2016 to 2020 alone, influencer marketing has increased a whopping 470% in just a span of 4 years. This is one of the fastest growing industries right now. Because of this, everyone is trying to be a content creator nowadays. Before we get more into it, we gotta fully understand what influencer marketing actually is. So influencer marketing is when brands or companies or products or whoever collaborates with an influencer and basically uses their credibility and their audience to promote a product and or service, thus hopefully gaining them customers and clients. An example of this could be right here. I have this smoothie, Real Fruit Bubble Tea. Let's say I was an influencer and Real Fruit Bubble Tea comes to me and they say, hey, we want you to promote our drink on your next YouTube video. I name a price, and next YouTube video I have one of the drinks. I'm like, hey guys, this is the sponsor of today's video, Real Fruit Bubble Tea. Let's give it a try. And I give my honest opinion, which is this is pretty good. So I would give it a good review. And because of that, the company would hopefully benefit from that because of the recognition I would give them through my video. And also my followers would see that the drink is good and I like it, and hopefully go buy their own. You could think of influencer marketing as a loyal customer, and they are giving a good recommendation on a product to thousands upon thousands of their closest friends. And those closest friends value the opinion of that loyal customer because they are close friends. So they will likely check it out. That is exactly what influencer marketing is. Influencer marketing is a very lucrative strategy when it comes to businesses. In 2021, there was a study that showed 92% of US companies with over 100 employees plan or were actively participating in social media marketing. There are actually many different ways that you can market with influencers on social media. The first way being what I already showed you, simply just giving a product to review. The second way is you could do a contest. These used to be big on Instagram back in the day, I would say 2016, and it's something that I personally tried to get involved in. How this works is basically you give products of either your brand or just products in general or cash to an influencer, and you get them to make a video on their social media saying, hey, I'm giving away X item. All you got to do is follow me and follow the company page, that the company that sponsored the influencer obviously and is giving away the stuff, and then tag 3 friends in the comments and let me know when you did, and the entries will be up in a week. And basically you just wait a week. People have to follow you, people have to follow the company to enter, so the company gains a lot of followers and in turn can gain sales and clients from that. And yeah, the company gives away something, but in turn they get a lot of attention on them. Another way that people can market with influencers is by giving out affiliate and discount codes. So for example, I'll use this drink again. Let's say instead of Real Fruit giving me a drink, they came to me and said, hey, we want to give you a affiliate code so that every time someone buys a drink with your code, you will get a percentage of the sale. So let's say I come on here and I say, all right guys, use code Alex for 10% off your next bubble tea. Then when people go to buy their bubble tea, they say, hey, I want to use the code Alex. And then when they use the code, I would get a percentage and Real Fruit Bubble Tea would get the rest of the money from the sale they just made. And because of that, a lot of people that are fans of me, for example, in this scenario, would go there looking for a discount. Everyone benefits because the customer gets a discount, I get a percentage of revenue, and Real Fruit Bubble Tea gets an increase in sales. Another way that influencer marketing can be implemented is by getting brand ambassadors. For example, let's say I was a public figure and the Toronto Maple Leafs reached out to me and wanted me to be a brand ambassador. Now, what would that actually mean? That would mean that I would be probably getting hooked up with a lot of Leafs gear, and I would be wearing a lot of Leafs gear because I am an ambassador for the brand. I would be posted a lot on the Maple Leafs social media, as well as I would also be posting myself on my own social media in the Maple Leafs clothing and merchandise. Brand ambassadors usually either hold a percentage of the company or they get a percentage of revenue generated by the company because they technically have a deal with the company now and are technically in some form working for them. My personal 2 favorite methods on here, I can't really pick one because I really like these 2, but I really like the contest and giveaway method as well as the affiliate discount code method. I think those are great, and I think they provide value for everyone, including the customers. I think they are great business models, and I have implemented those on some of my businesses that I have on social media. I have some e-commerce stores, and I've implemented some of these strategies myself. Now, we talked about the business side of things, we talked about the social side of things, we talked about what it is, but how do influencers actually tailor their content for different platforms? Because there are a lot of different platforms on social media. There's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's Snapchat, and there's TikTok, and there's countless other ones that I'm not even going to name because I'm just naming the big ones that I know off the top of my head. To be an influencer, you don't have to be on every platform. A lot of influencers are on a couple of platforms, but mainly specialize in one. For example, YouTubers, well, they do YouTube, but oftentimes they also have Twitter pages and Instagram pages so they can tweet whatever they're doing and post pictures. But their main source of revenue comes from, well, YouTube. Some influencers don't have any YouTube channels. They just might only have an Instagram or only have a Twitter or have an Instagram and a Twitter, but no YouTube. Many different ways to make money on social media, and every different platform is good at something. And when I say that, I mean every platform has their thing that they're the best at, and then there are things that every other platform kind of has, but they just kind of try to copy it. For example, YouTube is the best platform for long form videos, like the video you're watching right now. Instagram is the best platform when it comes to sharing pictures. TikTok is the best platform when it comes to sharing short videos. Twitter is the best platform when it comes to just sharing thoughts, sharing opinions. If you get smart with it, you can actually utilize all these different social media platforms to your advantage and tailor your content accordingly. An example of this would be like essentially creating a social media funnel. What is a social media funnel? A social media funnel is something that basically is a giant circle, and you have all the social medias you use around it. And let's say, for example, your TikTok has a link to your Instagram. Your Instagram has a link to your YouTube. And that way, when people fall down the rabbit hole and are checking your stuff out, they can find everything about you because it is all interconnected, and they can find all your social medias in essentially a few clicks. A very popular social media funnel as of right now is the live streaming social media funnel. Platforms like Twitch and Kick have been blowing up recently, with people live streaming themselves going about their day and playing video games. What a lot of these streamers will do is they will farm clips, essentially create entertaining small moments within their long hour streams, and take those clips and turn them into TikToks and make short videos out of those highlights. People will see those highlights on TikTok, and from there they will go to their Instagram and they will go back to their Twitch or Kick page, which in turn grows all of their social medias all together. Thank you for watching my YouTube video. I hope you were able to take away something from this video, whether it be how influencers affect the social aspect of life, political aspect of life, how they affect businesses, what they are in general, how they work, different strategies to market them, and different strategies that they can use to market themselves on various social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching my video, and make sure to press the subscribe button.